Being close is risky, yeah. But it's less risky for a character like Kanika. Okay, so we have Coil versus Ribbon Girl. Ribbon Girl's in it. You weren't playing Ribbon Girl in the first round, were you, Nom? And so we see a light and a heavy arm from both characters. Now that makes sense, that Hydra choice from Nom, using that Hydra because he knows Coil is like to go up in the air, although Faz is a very grounded side-to-side Coil player. So I'll be very interested to see if the Hydra does any good for Noms. Oh, and that's a lovely megawatt hit, getting that cheeky grab. Let's take this closer, let's see what Ribbon Girl is up to. Unfortunately, those beholders, which I will maybe one day remember the name of, are going to prove a real beast for Ribbon Girl in the air. Faz again doing a good job of avoiding the flurry and then landing his own. That's been a real strength of his during this tournament. There's some good curving from Noms, trying to feel Faz out, and that is a nice grab. Although the irony is seeing the curves and then just seeing Faz sitting pretty in the middle of it all. And those heavy arms just clashing, then Faz making that good decision to throw that revolver again, whilst that megawatt just sits on the ground. It did leave Noms slightly open. Let's swap the camera to Faz, see what he's up to. There we go. That is that good heavy arm cancelling out those punches from Noms. In fact, Noms using 2 light arms. That is a big risk against a player as sort of grounded, stoic as this Coil that we're seeing from Faz. There's some good dodging, and now Faz is sitting on a full available flurry. Oh, that could have been a flurry punish. I'm rather surprised we're not seeing more the flurries when Noms gets airborne, but I'm sure Faz is cooking something big up. Right now... Oh, thank you for the follow, my good sir. And Faz has been sat on a flurry for so long that Noms has actually got a flurry back himself, although we've not seen Noms land a flurry yet. That is a good grab. Oh, and a beautiful pickup into the aerial hit. Oh, Faz is now very close to going down. But there is the flurry finally. It doesn't quite do enough. Both on very low health into the last 5 seconds. Oh, Faz lands a hit. Doesn't quite do enough. Noms, you have to get in close and do something quick. And there's the grab. And that's it. Noms took it with a last second grab round to the side. What a match. Okay. One apiece. Let's go into this final round. I genuinely feel that Faz sitting on that flurry was a poor decision. Thank you, Okrimger, for the follow. In fact, Faz's response to Noms has 2 light arms and is beating me was to change so that both his arms are both light as well. 2 revolvers. Curious. As with the Mechanica fight on that we had last time, this too has turned into a bit of a frantic brawl. Let's swap to NomComms. A good delay on that flurry there, waiting for Faz to finish a dash and then nailing with the last bit of the flurry. Made good out of a bad situation. Oh, and Faz just slightly too late on that flurry. Noms is making good use of just jumping to avoid that revolver, jumping to avoid the revolver, and then answering with the popper. Are we seeing Faz going up into the air? If Faz went up and punched downward, maybe he'd have a better angle to cover Ribbon Girl's jumps. Right now, Noms has Flurry, Faz is close to Flurry. Noms uses it, just fails to catch. On a beautiful jump there, avoids the grab and does manage to close the round out in Noms' favour. That was well changed. Okay, good comeback from Noms. I am still curious as to the swap to the double revolver from Faz. It clearly didn't play out for him. So how will we see him change his play now? Will we see him swap to medium arms? Swap his arms entirely? I don't know. The popper was clearly working for Noms, and the Hydra, just in terms of being able to avoid things at the last second and punish with that distancing. I feel like if Faz had gone into the air maybe, or just simply delayed his own punches. Sometimes in arms, if you're getting hit too much and you're losing, just simply holding back can actually be one of the best things you can do, because if you keep going crazy, you are not going to be able to process where the gaps in your opponent are. And if they've started to find the gaps in you, you need to find the gaps in them. Anyway, let's crack on with this match. Noms curiously swapping back to that megawatt, and Faz actually swapping back to that beholder. I can't remember its name. Which means we're seeing a repeat of the first round, although we are on Spring Stadium now as opposed to the sparring ring, which does bring those lovely bouncy barriers into play. I would say the only thing they do truly is add the Ibuki combo option and open up bouncing for Noms. They really offer nothing additional for Coil and Faz. There we go, Faz going up. Oh, there is a cat in the room now. Hello, cat. Noms with a massive life lead now. I'm liking Noms' much slower punching style, although jumping onto the springboards just as Faz activates Flurry, probably not the best choice. He's just asking to get tagged. But we see Noms almost with Flurry active, so Faz is very much on the back foot. I'd like to see some nice accurate pressure, build up that Flurry meter, but now that Noms has Flurry ready, oh, and just a big old beautiful megawatt to the face closes out the round. That was a very good meaty punch, very well angled. Come on, Bruce. And I just want to wait for the next round. If everyone says hello to Bruce. Hello. He paused the microphone. Did someone follow for Cat? Good, thank you. So interestingly, Noms, that was a very predictive arm change from Noms. We've swapped out the megawatt. We're going back with Hydra and Popper, and Faz going with those umbrellas and Revolver. Faz still has the weight advantage, although that Brella is very slow. You throw it out and it's kind of drifting for a while. It's a very easy arm to punish, as you just saw there. The block on that Brella drops it to the ground, and then Noms was able to jump and punish, but that doesn't mean a lot when you're currently sitting at such a life disadvantage. Unfortunately, I was too busy picking up my cat that I missed the start of that game, and clearly where much of the action happened. And Noms reacting to that loss, he is swapping back to a megawatt. And actually Faz has swapped back to his heavy arm as well. I wonder if that was a reactionary swap. And here we see Faz totally changing his spacing. He is getting a lot closer to Noms, which is a very good idea with that Brella, because you're going to get a lot more cheeky little pickups. Although he made a bit more space there whilst Noms was charging a flurry. And now that you see the flurry's gone, you can see Faz sort of moving a lot closer again, working on much better spacing for those two arms. And now that Faz has flurry, this match is his to win right now. Slightly delayed on that. Ribbon Girl landed as the flurry was activating, so she was able to block that. Now we see Noms with the advantage, although a bit of a random flurry activation. Don't forget that Coil, when she's in the air, she's not jumping like a traditional character. The health situation is close now. I feel like one correct decision from either player. Oh, and there it is. The Brella cheekily waiting for Ribbon Girl's feet to just plant themselves and take the match for Faz and Coil. So, 1-1, chaps. Oh yes, linkable, yeah. No, thank you. I mean, I love ARMS. ARMS is, I think, is an absolutely fantastic game. So, like, anything I can do to just get people more into it, even if it's in just my own time, like, I'm more than happy to do it, because I think this game is absolutely brilliant. And yeah, I just want to keep playing it and find reasons to play it, so have fun. I'll be streaming next weekend for the Party Crash as well, you can be sure. Alright. Are we going to see any important changes with ARMS? Noms with that Popper Megawatt still. Fazgun with Revolver and that Electric Parasol again. So let's check out Faz, winner of our last match. The Ramen Bowl could be a lot trickier for Faz. There's a more curious terrain for that umbrella to traverse. Noms really needs to just focus on blocking that umbrella, punishing, keeping space. We can see Noms trying to punch away things, Faz's sometimes, but we're seeing Faz manage to avoid a lot just simply by dashing to the side. I'd like to see a more measured approach to the popper with Noms, like just looking, seeking out hits, maybe less of that megawatt pressure. I feel the megawatt is just so much easier to punish, and that was a good convert from that stun into flurry. And logical, Noms was blocking a lot all of a sudden. Was it because I was talking about maybe Noms should be blocking? Maybe I should be muted when you're playing. I'm probably distracting. I hope the Helix Party Crash is just like a Helix versus a Helix. I would expect it to be Helix versus Springtron though if I was actually guessing, because they're both experiments. Noms is just sitting on flurry. He really needs to try and find that flurry sooner rather than later, else he's just letting Faz build. Well, that was a very good grab. Definitely seeing Noms focusing more on the counterplay. Oh, and a good dash pickup there. Let's take a look from Noms' point of view. There's the problem. Both Noms' arms end up out most of the time, likely a lot because of that heavy megawatt, just spending, 5 years travelling. And that means that slow Brella, he is giving it that opportunity to hit him. Anyway, Faz sitting on flurry. Noms almost with flurry. Oh, and what a nice little cheeky grab. Faz accidentally blocking that. Both fighters with flurry. Faz is missed, a bit cheeky. Oh, slightly early on the release. Oh, and very well picked up. That umbrella was just sailing away, and then Noms jumps around, says, "You're likely going to dash this way. Here are my arms." Springtron already has a face and a badge. He does. That is very true. So not seeing an arm change from either fighter, which is understandable. Although I am wondering if Nom's choice of the 2 light arms was actually better for him in the long run. The change to megawatt. I'm seeing the odd good megawatt punt hit here and there, but I do genuinely feel like it's more of a hindrance. And Faz has a massive life lead now in this final round. Oh, unfortunate. We didn't get the full connect there, didn't curve it round quite enough. Now that Brella is just doing a great job of catching Noms if he tries to move to the centre. And there's the cheeky grab. And that means Faz is advancing. Unfortunately, Noms, you do exit out. But I have to say, that was an excellent round. Losers bracket or not. That was a very close, very, very good match. Okay. So the next match I'm in need of is Paul versus Louis Boy.